thinking about writing a will. Now, what I have spoken today applies to non-Muslims.
Okay.
Okay, because for the Muslims, there is a separate set of laws that is applicable for them because they have the sijil faraid and things like that.
Okay.
Right. So the purpose of my awareness today and my articles are limited to our non-Muslim friends.
The non-Muslim community.
Yes.
Okay. So that means you're saying like mainly for the conventional courts. Would that be correct?
Yes, the high courts, whether in Malay Peninsula.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So you've gone through the technicality of things and all of that. So now maybe let's just figure out something a little bit more layman, try to understand the psychology behind why do you think people don't seek will writing as a priority. I mean, obviously sometimes we don't think we're going to pass away or go away fast enough or soon enough. Some, especially for younger people like me, and I don't really have one yet. I don't have a will, and I never really thought about doing it as such because sorry, my phone was ringing. Let me just put this on silent. Yeah, so I was saying like someone like me who have never really thought about will writing and stuff like that. But yeah, the awareness should be there. Okay, let's just say for someone like me, my kids are still young. What happens like if I wanted to pass it on to my kids for education purposes or stuff like that? So would I not would I need to nominate someone to look after the?
Yes. You see, okay, first of all, anybody can write a will. Okay, as long as the person is 18 years and above, has got a sound mind to know exactly that this is what the person wants to do. All right. Now, because death sees no age.
Of course, yeah.
Right. It is always easier to have the wealth distributed if there is a will. Now, I understand for young ones, those who have just started working and then they're thinking like, oh, I haven't even accumulated any wealth, so, and it's not like I said, I'm going to die tomorrow. All right. Granted, then what's the point of even doing a will, right? Because you don't have anything that you wish to pass on, right? Okay. Come to 30s and even 40s, right? We have known a lot of people, or rather we have heard of about a lot of people who would have just suddenly dropped and died at the age of 40, right? Very unfortunate, but it happens. Now, at usually 20 to 30s, that's when everybody is trying to accumulate the wealth. The lucky ones maybe will have about 2 houses, but the ones who are going out to work will have at least 1 house, and they start accumulating the wealth. So that's well and fine. I think that from the average of 35 years and above, you can start thinking, about how you want the will, or rather, how do you want your wealth to be distributed?
Yeah. I understand.
And you see, a will starts at the very first sentence as this will revoke the earlier will. So if you have made a will today, and in 5 years' time you wish to
change it,
redistribute your wealth, or you wish to add on, you want to make a change, you just have to make a new one, because that will revoke the earlier one.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, okay, so that's good news, good information for me personally, because I am at the age of about 34, 35, starting to accumulate some wealth. Obviously, I'm not at that where I want to be yet, but there is something to distribute, and obviously for me it would be mainly for my children's well-being, especially education wise and things like that, to at least try to get them the minimum of education. So that would be the initial goal. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so we've addressed the part of younger people needing a will. So I think anywhere, if you've got kids, if you've got family, or even if you are a young adult, anywhere 34, 35 and above, you should start thinking about this seriously. So great thing that we've established that. Now, why do you think, and of course this is where we want to hit the topic and break the taboo, is like, why do you think people now in the 40s or 50s or even sometimes 60s that they don't actually have one? Is it because of the lack of education, or is it just because like they feel it's not necessary, or is it, I don't know, sometimes what do you think the psychology behind that logic is?
To me, my opinion is the taboo.
That's what I
Writing a
think.
will means it's as if I'm going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we are all going to go. It's not. It's a
Yes.
matter of when. Obviously, till we are, as long as we're alive, we try to maximize and enjoy ourselves and live life to the best of we can. But then, like you said, you never know when you're going to just drop off and go. Some people, unfortunately, at 40s, they just have a random illness and that's it. Like you said, we've known and heard of people who've gone through that as well. So if you're in 60s, of course, the risk level is slightly higher, and especially if in the 70s, 80s, it is also, and if you don't have a will, I think at 60 years old, I think that is starting to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, as long as you have wealth and you have accumulated wealth that you wish to distribute upon the passing away of of that person, then it's fine to write a will.
Okay.
And if you want to update it, say in time to come, then there's no issue.
Okay.
Because the earlier will be revoked. Then the present one is the one that will be given effect. Now, I must state this one pointer. The will requires a trustee. Okay. Now, if you have young children, then you will want the trustee to utilize the wealth in a certain manner to ensure that your children are educated before the rest of the wealth is distributed to them, for example. Okay. And you also need witnesses.
Okay.
Right. So the person who is going to benefit from the will should not be a witness.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always advise, because you see there are technicalities, that who should benefit and who should witness and things like that. I always advise that let your witnesses be people who are independent of the will. They have no connection to the will. They are just going to witness that you have prepared this will, you're signing this will, and they are witnessing you for that. Okay. And when that will is given effect as to applying for the grant of probate from the courts, then your witnesses will need to put an affidavit to say that yes, I witnessed, this is his true will. Okay. And that's it.
Interesting. So, there's so much. There's so many layers and processes to this. It's not as simple as a single document, and hence why I think sometimes you do need professional assistance, someone like yourself to guide and execute this. Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we?
Okay. My last words before we end this video. First of all, Arwin, thank you very much for this opportunity.
No problem.
And for the rest of us, do consider about making a will. It's not a taboo. No one is going to drop dead right after making a will. Excuse me for that. But it will certainly take care the interest of your loved ones after we are gone.
Yeah.
Right.
I think,
and especially now with COVID.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and it is a smart thing to do. As simple as I think the logic is, if you use this logic, I don't know if it will make sense. Like you buy medical insurances, of course not hoping to use it, but you don't buy it and expect yourself to be sick the next day. And I think it's exactly the same with what you're doing in
will writing. Yes.
Will writing, and you write a will and you don't expect to drop dead the next day.
Correct.
It is just a contingency plan, and just to make everyone be comfortable. And it's a process that needs to be done, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the session, and I definitely learned something new. So this is new for me. We know that it's important, but we've never really gone into depth about this. And I definitely hope our viewers out there, especially the younger ones at about 35, let's start considering this very seriously. And yes, if you have any queries, we will drop Sukhdev's contacts in the links and our bios and stuff like that. You can get in touch with her, ask her for whatever price range and whatever else that you guys need to ask, because I know we can't promote prices out in the open.
Yes, Arwin, this video is not advertising my law firm. Yeah, it is basically creating an awareness.
Okay, so that's right. So if you do need any more information, about will writing, and I'm sure Sukhdev will be more than happy to explain it further, and everything else can be done. Yeah, just speak to her, reach out to her, and that's pretty much it. So yes, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this short video. I don't know how long it's gone, maybe 10-15 minutes now, but we wanted to keep it short, and I think we've covered a lot of bases. So if there's any questions, any queries, do drop it in our comment boxes, and I'm sure she will try to address them as well as she can.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We will see you soon.